Hi, it is the week of the seventh pillar of our raw material. I am Tavish Carduff, here to talk a little bit about what I value. If you look above me, you can see an old pennant from the high school I went to, and also a few things behind me. It being listening week right now while I'm recording, I'm doing double duty on that and values and ideals. So listening has me with the Chiefs right now, deep into paying attention to the roots of sports in my own childhood, what they sounded like in my house, my grandparents' houses, friends' houses, what type of energy and exuberance Kansas City has always produced around certain sports. When a kid I went to elementary school's dad was involved with the Kansas City Kings. So as a kid, that basketball team was really important to me. And it left when I was still young. I wouldn't remember it without those ties from a certain kid in my class. So you can't really see it, but having a Kings banner behind me is important to me. I touch it and I can relate to the things that were important to me as a younger person. And it's nice to go back and look at the values, not the ego-based ones from then, the ones that still show you to be the person that you were when you were a kid and still are today. Those parts of you that still shine through because they're part of your soul. Values and Ideals Week gives us a chance to pick apart and examine our own judgment and our belief systems and how those things form, and also how easy they are to shift if we are actively paying attention to where we're limited. This is where stuff gets really fun. The seventh pillar and beyond deals with a lot more things. So it's a lot more interactive with other people. We're not having to be as inside of ourselves, trying to get to know ourselves. But now we're looking at how we interact with things based on the things from the first four pillars anyway. Judgment sticks in our body. And the judgments that we form when we're kids based on what we hear our parents say or what we just hear over and over become our beliefs. So the things that we're told over and over again are the things that we eventually come to believe. We've seen it work in our politics in the last several years, just building energies that believe such vastly different basic truths. When Kellyanne Conway first said alternative facts, I had to take a pause because I thought she's not wrong, but it's wrong to say it like that or to hold it like that when we each hold our truth to be so valuable. And the thing is, we have had a split on truth. We all believe so many vastly different things that it's very hard to come to common agreement about what truth is. And I'm not sure we're supposed to anymore. Since the pandemic, we have done a major shift in how we each portray the world, view the world, see what happens, see ourselves in the world. There's just so much to relate to now that there wasn't before. And we're each opening our eyes to how we connect. So our efforts with our raw material are to move the conversation less towards a standard of normal and, diagnosing people who are this far off of whatever is normal, and instead look at a whole person and see where they need support and where they don't need support. And the best way to do that is with a common framework. Our raw material provides an ideal method and mode for each of us to assess ourselves. And using a simple common framework makes it easy to at least understand from the ground level what we're trying to do, even if each of our thoughts and beliefs are so vastly different that we can't reach agreement. There's value in our ideals because they promote growth. And with my clients, I started a long time ago asking them to imagine the best for situations, to stop being afraid to hope just because you've hoped and been let down. Well, being let down doesn't hurt you in any way. In fact, being ready to be let down sometimes is the best way to go through life because it's going to happen. At some point, the people that you love are going to do something that's going to disappoint you, and you're going to have to find a way to get through it. And every single person's different how they're willing to do that. For some people, everything rolls right off. They don't gather intention. But depending on what sort of personality type we are, we each start pulling in different parts of our beliefs that are based on our unique, solely personal experience, and then trying to meet this standard of normal or acceptable that we've all been shown. Even that is a weird concept in and of itself, because normal was shown to us through the eyes of our parents. So whatever we've all been calling normal for a long time, this ideal standard, is arbitrary. And it's trying to attain something common in terms of a belief system. There are just too many variables. But a common framework for each of us to run our own personal experience through, so that our conversation becomes as common as it can, that puts us on a platform for understanding. That lets us let our guard down a little bit and be able to promote our own value systems. And with that comes reworking our beliefs in a way that, just like the things that we've done with the first 6 pillars, breaking down the things that make us and the things that we're defensive about, using them in a positive way, looking at how they've helped us, looking at them differently than the way that we've always looked at them, which is, this doesn't meet the standard of normal, acceptable, whatever we want to project. So we start looking at what we truly value, and we take it to what I call the ideal playground and imagine the best for it. Now we've created all sorts of scenarios where, it might not ever happen, but there are people that maybe I don't get along with, and I will have a conversation with them in the ideal playground, and I can direct the conversation, and I can imagine what they would say and what I would say, and how we would let guards down, how we would find forgiveness, how we would hug it out and move on. It doesn't mean that's going to happen in my real life, but I experience it, so it feels possible. And when things trigger me, I can remember possibilities, and I can remember the best that I've imagined for a thing, not how bad it could be, because it's really easy, especially in the moment when you're triggered, to go straight into uncomfortable emotions, uncomfortable feelings, and put yourself in a position to just drag you down rather than stay in an ideal space, even when things trip up, because they're gonna trip up. Feeling like you can affect something, feeling like you're a part of it energetically, is as powerful and adds to the power that, wearing the shirt that you want to wear, or some superstition that you come up with on your own, feeling like you affect things. But when you affect it as part of the group, when you think about affecting as part of the group, when you think about growth as part of a group, then things start to click into place in a way that is just grounded and powerful, leading me to continue untangling all of the beliefs that keep me angry or bothered or able to be triggered, so that I am a clear vessel for manifesting. Because really, what we all want is to be able to get the things that we want. Our values and our ideals set us up to do that. And if we can clear out all of the mental space and all of these stuck spaces in our body where we hold the things that keep us from those things, spend time imagining what we want, now we are manifesting, and we're set up to do it. Values and Ideals falls on the heels of Listening Week, where we have spent that week deeply connecting with the things that resonate for us, making the value rise to the top. They're clear to see. So then you move into making this values list. My challenge for this week is to create a list. Even if you've done it before, I have skipped them, and I can tell you, I can feel the difference. But making a list of what you value for right now, for this period in time, helps you make decisions about your time that will be big enough changes for you to notice them, for you to feel more effective in your life, in your body, in your skin, even if nothing has changed other than you are just paying attention to what you actually value, not what might be expected or anticipated for you. This type of value has to include the greater good, and it has to include some awareness and acceptance that you are connected to something else. So you can't just do for you, screw the family. It doesn't work like that. But it does work where best case scenario for everyone gets met, meaning we don't sacrifice ourselves for somebody else, and we also don't give ourselves so much that somebody else really needs something. That's an entire can of worms that we're just going to let it sit with the concept for the moment, because where we each choose to act on that is, again, incredibly personal. And it is our own values and ideals that will lead us to those steps to personally make changes that undo all of the things that we have wrong. Because if we are all acting to personally help ourselves from the inside out, we are going to garner the power to affect the changes that we want to see in the world and do it with everybody pretty happy about it. At least that's what I'm taking to the ideal playground this week, along with a Kansas City win 2 weeks. And for those of you who are definitely not Chiefs fans and anti-Chiefs fans, thank you for indulging me this week. I will be back next week for Conflict Week. Please check out our website at ourawmaterial.com and let us know anything you'd like to see in upcoming videos. Thank you.